Y News with William Theo, Angelo Castro III, and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, is now studying the possible cause of Mount Mayon's unusual behavior. Meanwhile, experts warn of a possible lahar flow over the weekend. Here's why from Jun Sorial.
Authorities are monitoring not just the volcanic activities of Mount Mayon, but also the possibility of heavy rainfall in the province, which may trigger lahar flow. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA, is currently monitoring a weather system in the country which may trigger heavy rainfall in the province of Albay over the weekend.
Tatlo na pong weather model po yung nag-agree po doon sa Saturday na may mga pagulan po ng Saturday.
The State Weather Bureau is looking into the volume of rainwater that might fall in the province. It says the rains may trigger a lahar flow in the towns surrounding the Mount Mayon. Since the Mount Mayon continues to spew ash, the previous lahar deposits in the volcano continues to increase. With this, the Albay Public Safety and Management Office is already preparing the areas where the affected residents can stay in. The local office also vows to diligently issue warnings to the residents.
Pero iba ang warning na ipapalabas namin dito sa Daraga Kamalay going to Ligaw. Iba din ang lahar warning na ipapalabas namin, part of Legazpi, Santo Domingo and up to Tabaco. Kasi doon all deposits, pero dito new deposits, magkaiba ang rainfall threshold niyan.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, is studying the Mayon's spewing of lava fountain or phreatomagmatic eruption within an interval of just 4 to 5 hours. Based on its observation, PHIVOLCS says it is the first time the Mayon volcano exhibited such behavior. PHIVOLCS Senior Science Research Specialist Paul Alanis, however, notes there are no exact explanations yet for the said phenomenon. For now, the agency is certain that the elevation of magma to the crater of the volcano will continue. Within 24 hours, Mount Mayon spewed phreatomagmatic eruption or fountain of lava 6 times already. Jun Sorial, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
Meanwhile, the prices of vegetables at public markets in Albay have increased amid the continuous volcanic activities of Mount Mayon. Mai Bermudez will tell us why.
The farmlands within the permanent danger zone are now covered with thick ash falling from the crater of Mayon volcano. Because of this, Albay province is experiencing a shortage of vegetable supplies like bitter gourd or ampalaya, eggplants, legumes, and taro. This prompted some vendors to buy vegetables from the nearby Quezon province, while others opted to go to Baguio City to replenish their supplies. With this, some vendors have no choice but to sell their vegetables at higher prices.
Nasira na nung abo, gaya niyan oh. Sirang-sira na po nung abo, kaya umaangkat na lang kami dun sa Sariaya para kahit papano may mabibili kahit mahal.
Vegetable prices in the province have increased by 20 pesos to 40 pesos. Like the bitter gourd, from the previous price of 40 pesos per kilogram rose to 60 pesos. Prices of eggplants also increased from 40 pesos per kilogram to 70 pesos. Even the prices of taro or gabi leaves, chayote, and cabbage have also risen. There are also fears of losses in the earnings of vegetable vendors due to the continuous abnormal volcanic activities of Mount Mayon. This is Barangay San Rafael, one of the towns near the foot of Mount Mayon. Some vegetable farms here are already covered with ash falling from the Mayon volcano. Farmers say many of the vegetables here have died and are no longer safe for consumption.
Yung iba po nakamatay na, yung iba nabansot. Meron namang nagpapatuloy pero yung iba lang hindi ganong maayos ang pagtubo nila.
Despite the high prices of vegetables, there have been no movements in the prices of other major commodities in the province like rice, sugar, canned goods, and others. There is an existing price freeze in the entire province of Albay after it was placed under a state of calamity. Aside from ash-laden vegetables, many worry that farm animals in areas near the volcano are getting sick due to the ashfall. This prompted the residents to also evacuate their cows and carabaos from areas reached by the falling ash. My Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Albay.
Fewer tourists flock Albay province amid Mount Mayon's volcanic activity, and My Bermudez is in Legazpi, Albay to tell us why live. Yes, Mai, good evening.
Good evening, William. Mayon volcano's activity still prompted a number of tourists to visit Albay province. These individuals say they aren't afraid of possible danger eruptions may pose. According to Benjamin Santiago, Regional Director of the Department of Tourism in Region 5, as of January 13 to 24, there are 280 local tourists, 11 Australians, 21 Americans, 5 Germans, 12 Swiss, 2 Chinese, 4 Indians, 2 Indonesians, and 5 other unidentified nationalities who were currently staying in Albay hotels. Families spotted.
Well, yung tourism arrivals natin, merong dumating, hindi siya remarkable. But ang mga negosyante ngayon nagko-complain as of now. I just came in na tumatawag sa akin na kung pwedeng i-lift na ng kaap yung kasi maraming cancellations.
Families spotted in Cagsawa ruins say they are taking advantage of the season to do picture takings and have a photo session with Mayon volcano from the distance. Meantime, sales of several stores such as souvenir shops admit that they are now affected by this phenomenon.
Siguro pag natapos na yung Mayon, siguro lalakas na yung namin, sales namin.
This shop owner in Cagsawa ruins also feels the negative effect of Mayon's eruption.
Medyo may nang bentahan. Sabagay, nasa mantamang kasi ng January.
As of now, Will, the Legazpi airport is still shut down due to the activities and eruptions of Mayon. But the Department of Tourism is still encouraging local and foreign tourists to visit other spots here in the Bicol region, such as Calaguas beaches, Donsol for whale sharks, and Cagsawa ruins. William?
Okay, thank you very much, My Bermudez, live from Legazpi, Albay. Meanwhile, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR, is readying the charges it will file against the 7 hikers behind the fire that hit Mount Pulag in Benguet last week. The blaze engulfed more than 5 hectares of grasslands after the butane gas stove brought by the said hikers from Cebu exploded. According to the DENR Cordillera Administrative Region, the 7 hikers might face charges for violating our National Integrated Protected Area System Act and the Forestry Reform Code of the Philippines. The DENR will prohibit hikers from entering the burnt area of the Mount Pulag for 6 months to pave way for its rehabilitation and natural regrowth.
The families of the members of the SAP 44 Commandos continue to call for justice for their slain relatives. Grace Casin will tell us why.
It was like the world fell apart. This was what the families of 44 members of the Special Action Force of the Philippine National Police felt when they confirmed that their loved ones were among those who died in the Mamasapano encounter. But despite the grim episode in their lives, they still feel grateful to President Rodrigo Duterte for his efforts of giving recognition and importance to the fallen police officers.
The proclamation is truly a gift and a legacy of the President to the children and families of the SAP 44. It has been 3 years, and painfully, we remember the 44. It has been 3 years, and justice has still eluded our heroes.
Una, nagpapasalamat ako sa ating Presidente Duterte sa kanyang binigay na halaga sa sakripisyo ng mga SAP 44.
In today's commemoration of the third year of the bloody encounter, a wreath-laying ceremony was held this morning at the headquarters of the Police Regional Office 9. The event was led by the officials and personnel of the Police Regional Office 9, along with some relatives of the 44 fallen heroes. The SAF commandos also marched in salute to their fallen comrades. The relatives of the gallant 44 have also been relentless in calling for justice for their slain loved ones.
Masulubon ko gahantod karon wa palagi na hatagi gihapog insakto gyud nga hustisya ang ilang kamatayon kung kinsay angayan manubag ana.
Nakita niyo naman yung sincerity ng pamunuan ng Philippine National Police, ng SAF, even ng ating presidente, yung commitment niya sa family at sa mga naulila at yung commitment naman ng buong armed forces at ng Philippine National Police para doon sa makamit yung hustisya.
Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The trial of 88 accused in the killing of 44 PNP Special Action Force troopers has yet to commence 3 years into the bloody incident. Rodrigo Mendoza will tell us why.
Justice remains elusive for the 44 elite policemen killed during an operation in Mamasapano, Maguindanao exactly 3 years ago. While terrorist bomb expert Zulkifli Binihir alias Marwan was killed, SAF troopers paid the ultimate sacrifice. On March 2016, 88 were indicted for direct assault with murder over the death of 35 SAF men who were killed in the cornfield of Barangay Tucanalipaw. The accused included 5 commanders of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front or MILF. In January last year, the Regional Trial Court of Sharif Aguac, Maguindanao issued arrest orders against the accused, but until now, none has been arrested. Based on a Justice Department report, the trial has not yet started because some of the accused filed motions seeking the dismissal of the charges and the recall of the arrest warrants. Despite this, Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre assures they will remain steadfast in their commitment to bring justice to the victims. The DOJ has already requested the Supreme Court to transfer the trial of the cases from Cotabato City to a court in Metro Manila. In January last year, they wrote Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno about it, but the High Court has not decided on the request until now. If justice seems uncertain for the 35 SAF men, there is a serious doubt whether their comrades who assaulted Marwan's hut will get justice at all. Until now, the perpetrators remain unknown and there was no witness who could identify them. Rodrigo Mendoza, UNTV, News and Rescue, Supreme Court.
Solicitor General Jose Calida has asked the Supreme Court to order the Ombudsman to file reckless imprudence resulting in homicide charges against former President Benigno Aquino III over the deaths of SAF 44. Calida also wants former PNP Chief Alan Purisima and former SAF Chief Getulio Napeñas indicted alongside Aquino. He also requested the High Court to issue a temporary restraining order and stop the arraignment of the three, which was set on February 15 for usurpation of authority and graft charges. Calida says there was grave abuse of discretion on the part of Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales when she dismissed the criminal negligence charges against Aquino and others and instead filed lighter offenses.
We do not agree with the position of the Ombudsman in filing only slap on the wrist cases. Here in our manifestation, we are acting as People's Tribune because the SAF 44 are fallen, but they will never be forgotten.
Newly installed SAF Director Police Director Noli Talino says he will focus on strengthening the Special Action Force. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
A more empowered Philippine National Police Special Action Force. This is what the newly installed SAP Director, Police Director Noli Talino, wants to achieve for the specialized group under his leadership. Talino was the Deputy Director of the SAF when the bloody Mamasapano encounter that killed 44 SAF members took place. On his return to the SAF, Talino immediately laid down his plans for the police entity.
Unang-una, i-enhance yung ating training. Kasi yun naman ang dito naman na-develop yung competence and skills ng ating mga tao dito sa SAF. Gagawin natin yan in coordination with, ito yung pangalawang kon natin, with our counterparts, AFP and foreign counterparts. Kaya dito natin ma-enhance yung good working relationship ng PNP at saka ng AFP.
Talino also says President Rodrigo Duterte fully supports all the measures that will see the strengthening of the Special Action Force.
Ang ating mahal na Pangulo ay nagbigay ng I think 2 billion para doon sa capability enhancement program ng SAF alone. At maraming equipment, mga high-tech equipment including cruiser weapons na gagamitin ng ating mga tropa. Ito ay malaking tulong doon sa mga special missions na gagawin ng ating tropa.
He adds that the President also orders the augmentation of 5 more battalions to the existing 7 battalions of the SAF. Talino also says that the conduct of special missions must be carefully studied and planned to prevent the Mamasapano encounter from repeating. Director Talino joined today's commemoration of the fallen 44 at Camp Bagong Diwa in Taguig. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Let's take a look at the traffic situation now along some major roads in Metro Manila. On 5th Avenue in C3, Caloocan City, vehicles are fast moving on the lane going to A. Bonifacio. While motorists going to A. Mabini are also experiencing light flow of vehicles. On Alabang Zapote Road, the traffic is green and go on the lane going to Ayala Alabang and Las Piñas City. Vehicles are also fast-moving on the lane going to Muntinlupa City and South Luzon Expressway or SLEX. Meanwhile, the Department of Health now offers a free HIV testing for pregnant women as part of their prenatal package check-up. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
The number of Filipinos who tested positive for human immunodeficiency virus or HIV continues to rise. Based on the figures of the Department of Health or DOH, 67,000 individuals tested positive for HIV in 2017. The said number is lower compared to that in other countries like Thailand, which recorded 300,000 cases in the same year. However, Dr. Gerard Belimac, the program manager of the DOH National HIV-STI Prevention, finds worrying the 31 new HIV cases health authorities record daily.
So kung titingnan natin yung paglobo ng mga kaso araw-araw, paakyat na siya, itong mga bansang ito, kung hindi man stable, mas pababa pa siya. Alarming na yung scenario dahil hindi doon sa actual numbers of people living with HIV, hindi yung rate of increase.
Aside from the DOH, some non-governmental organizations or NGOs are also helping in raising public awareness on how to avoid contracting HIV, like avoiding having multiple partners. Meanwhile, the DOH is now offering free HIV testing to pregnant women in the National Capital Region or NCR and in Cebu City. The Health Department says it is also readying the implementation of the said program in various regions. This is to prevent pregnant women from passing on to their infants the said virus. Dr. Belimac explains there is a lower chance for a pregnant woman to transfer the virus to her infant if she undergoes an antiretroviral therapy.
According to research, according to UN, the chance na maipapasa ng nanay infected with HIV doon sa kanyang anak yung HIV is 1 in every 4 pregnancies or 25% lamang. At ito ay pwede pang pababain natin to 1 in 50 pregnancies kung ang nanay ay nabigyan ng antiretroviral drugs.
The DOH assures that the antiretroviral drugs they give to pregnant women are safe for both the mother and her infant. Health officials note the HIV testing among pregnant women is not mandatory, but the DOH says it is part of the prenatal package checkup it offers in DOH centers. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasig City.
The Department of Health says it is ready to support the families of the children who were given Dengvaxia shots in filing complaints against Sanofi Pasteur. Here's why from Leslie Longbowen.
In a forum today with parents and school officials of Santa Rosa Central 3 Elementary School in Santa Rosa City, Laguna, Department of Health Secretary Francisco Duque III assures a mother of a child who got afflicted with severe dengue in September 2017, 1 year after receiving Dengvaxia vaccine. Maria Teresa Valenzuela expressed concern as they once again brought her child to the hospital yesterday due to very high fever.
Every time na lang po ba na lalagnatin ng anak ko, kailangan po na ng dugo. Alam niyo po, nagkakatrauma na po siya. Kasi nung time na na-ICU siya, magang-maga na yung kamay niya. Nang dahil po dyan sa Dengvaxia na yan.
The Valenzuela family still has an outstanding bill of 90,000 pesos in their child's previous hospitalization. Secretary Duque assures them that the department will be the one to shoulder the said amount.
So sasagutin po ng DOH sa pamamagitan ng medical assistance program. Pero kung kayo naman po ay gagawin PhilHealth, yung po PhilHealth ang inyong gagawin. Yan po ang unang siya magbabayad kesa pribadong ospital o sa pampublikong ospital.
The secretary also says the DOH will support the filing of cases against Sanofi Pasteur in the event that the pharmaceutical company is found to have violated the law. Duque questions Sanofi's support to the clinical trial that the RITM has conducted for Dengvaxia vaccine.
Basta ang investigation, iwan natin sa DOJ, PAO, and NBI. Siyempre, mahirap naman kung DOH ang mag-iimbestiga, pagdududahan lang din naman.
Duque adds that the Office of the Ombudsman has ordered the RITM to submit all its clinical trial records relative to the said vaccine. Meanwhile, the DOH will be releasing the result of the study conducted by the UPPGH on the alleged bad effects of Dengvaxia tomorrow. The department also invited the Public Attorney's Office, who is conducting its own investigation on the said vaccine.
Para magkaroon ng harmonization and alignment of the findings between one, PAO did the forensics pathology investigation or studies, and then the UPPGH task force did the audit of the clinical charts and medical records. So we will have to make sure that there is complementarity between the two findings.
Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Next on Y News. President Rodrigo Duterte expected to bring home job opportunities and billions of dollars worth of investments from his official visit to India. The country's joblessness rate marked significant reduction in 2017, according to the latest report of the Social Weather Stations or SWS. Police Chief Director General Ronald De La Rosa signs new operational guidelines of the PNP's Oplan Tokhang. Y News will be right back. President Rodrigo Duterte is expected to bring home more than $1 billion worth of investments and almost 100,000 job opportunities after his official visit to India. Ray Pelayo is in New Delhi, India to tell us why live. Yes, Ray, go ahead.
Angelo, Philippine officials consider their visit successful here in India due to the economic and trade benefits that they are expected to bring home. President Rodrigo Duterte immediately held a bilateral meeting with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi upon his arrival in New Delhi yesterday. According to presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque, the talks of the two leaders focused on threats of terrorism not just in the Philippines but in the entire ASEAN region.
Although the Philippine president used the term terrorism, he also emphasized that there was a threat to what is known as the Indo-Pacific navigation route pertaining to the threat of piracy, that ASEAN countries must cooperate militarily to combat this form of terrorism.
According to Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez, the Philippine delegation is expected to bring home around $1.25 billion worth of investments from various Indian companies. Lopez explains the huge investment can create 100,000 new jobs in the Philippines.
We had basically about nine sort of agreements with them on how they can or how we can both expand and strengthen our trade and investment relationship.
The biggest renewable energy firm in India also vows to construct wind and solar energy plants in the Philippines. President Rodrigo Duterte also expressed willingness to push for the importation of cheaper medicines from India. The Philippine Trade Secretary notes India is the biggest exporter of medicines to the United States and European Union. Lopez says prices of branded medicines in India is 50 to 90% cheaper compared to the ones available in other countries. President Duterte initially announced he would allow India to operate a factory of medicine in the Philippines.
It's highlighted that the medicines coming from India are not only affordable but also with high efficacy, very effective.
Filipino officials are also studying the possibility of bringing back direct flights to India to increase the number of Indian tourist arrivals in the Philippines. Angelo, the 10 ASEAN member heads of states will attend as guests during India's Republic Day celebration tomorrow. Angelo?
Thank you, Ray Pelayo, reporting live from New Delhi, India. The Philippine government is studying the possibility of signing an agreement with India that would pave way for the deployment of more Filipino workers to the South Asian country. Here's why from Diwash Rai.
AJ Pantaleon has been working in India as a hardware consultant for 10 years now. He is among the Filipinos who are able to secure professional jobs in the second most populous country in the world. AJ is also the president of the Filipinos community in India, making him able to see the huge opportunities available for overseas Filipino workers here. Most Filipinos in India work in companies in the information technology industries who receive an average monthly salary of 100 to 400,000 pesos.
Parang siyang come and go, na pag may umalis na 5, may papalit naman na 10. Kasi ngayon ang ekonomiya ng India ay booming and then kailangan nila mga skilled worker.
The group also seeks the signing of the Philippines of an agreement with India for the deployment of OFWs there. Although Filipinos earn huge salaries, they are having difficulties in renewing their visas.
Dito, hindi ka pwede magtrabaho just an ordinary empleyado lang. Kailangan may posisyon ka sa kumpanya.
According to the Philippine Embassy in India, there are 3,000 Filipinos here and 400,000 of them are living in New Delhi. Some of them were able to marry Indian nationals. According to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, although OFW questions had not been part of the discussion between President Rodrigo Duterte and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Philippine authorities will study the possibility of improving the opportunities of OFWs there.
Of course, we notice that India today has a very high standard of living, and yes, given the economic boom in India, I understand that their economic growth was 7%, no? And they are a population of more than 1 billion people, no?
Diwash Rai, UNTV News and Rescue, New Delhi, India.
The number of Filipinos who are jobless has decreased based on the latest report of the Social Weather Stations, or SWS. Rosa Licos will tell us why.
Based on the latest report of the Social Weather Stations or SWS survey, in December 2017, the rate of joblessness in the country has decreased. From 18.9% in the third quarter of 2017, the number has decreased by more than 3 points at 15.7% in the fourth quarter, or an estimated 7.2 million jobless adults. This is the lowest joblessness rate recorded since March 2004. This number consists of those who voluntarily left their jobs, those who were dismissed, and first-time job seekers. Aside from this, more Filipinos are getting optimistic that there will be more job opportunities in the coming months. June Mercado, a 25-year-old resident of Valenzuela City, has been jobless for a month. He is the third of 4 siblings and is helping his parents sustain the education of his youngest brother. For now, he is processing the requirements necessary for his next job in a retail shop. June believes that it is not difficult to look for a job, especially if the applicant is not choosy.
Tulong-tulong lang yung mga dating katrabaho ko. Kukontakin ko lang, tapos i-chat na lang nila ako. Kung meron doon, mag-apply ako doon.
Meanwhile, Malacanang said more jobs are expected to be generated with the implementation of Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion Act, which will intensify the infrastructure projects of the government. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The leaders of both houses of Congress have finally met last night and talked about the issues on charter change. Grace Casin will tell us why.
After days of exchanging words through the media, House Speaker Pantalon Alvarez and Senate President Coco Pimentel finally have talked to address the issue. During the meeting, the leaders of both houses agreed to set aside the issue on how they will vote on the proposed amendments on the charter. Alvarez says they will create their own study group to finalize the amendments on the proposed federalism. Here, the group will study all federalism versions, including the own version of the ruling party, PDP Laban. Once they finish the proposals, they will have another discussion on how they're going to vote.
Kung halimbawa, magkasundo naman kami sa bawat hakbang. So pagdating sa dulo, it doesn't matter anymore kung voting separately or jointly.
But according to Bayan Muna Party List Representative Carlos Zarate, the conduct of study of both chambers must be open to the public to ensure transparency, especially since there are contentious provisions that might get included in the proposed new constitution, such as term extension, no election, and the proposal to dissolve independent government agencies.
That's dangerous, no? Dahil iilang tao lang ang gumagawa ng desisyon para sa kinabukasan ng ating bayan.
Meanwhile, Speaker Alvarez just laughed it off when some senators remarked that what the House is doing about the charter change is bully and pathetic. Alvarez says that should not be taken seriously.
Hindi naman seryoso yun na nag-aaway, talagang normal lang, di ba? Para naman may fireworks, meron kayong pinagkakatuwaan.
Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
A maritime law expert calls for transparency in the government's granting of permission to other countries to conduct research in the seas within the Philippine territory. Here's why from Rosa Licoz.
The government's approval to China to conduct marine research in the Philippine rice or Benham rice became controversial. Benham rice is rich in corals, marine life, and gas reserves and was declared part of the Philippine Extended Continental Shelf by the United Nations in 2012. The issue became more controversial when Malacanang answered the question why it was China which was given permission to do the research.
Bakit daw po kailangan China pa yung mag-conduct ng research?
Because only China has qualified so far. There are other applicants, unfortunately, they did not qualify according to fixed guidelines already set by the government.
Bakit daw po hindi Filipinos on their own?
Because no one has applied and no one can do it because apparently it's capital intensive. You do not need a permit for any Filipino corporation to conduct scientific investigation in Benham rice because it is ours. So that's not something that a consent has to be given to by the government.
The statement of the presidential spokesperson garnered criticisms. UP Maritime Law expert Professor J. Batombacal says Filipinos have been doing marine research in Benham rice for years already, so it is wrong to say that it is only China which is qualified to conduct scientific expeditions. The advocates of science and technology for the people, or AGHAM, also reacted, saying that this is not an issue of affordability but an issue of lack of support and priority of the government to Filipino scientists to conduct research in our own waters. With this sour development, Malacanang backtracked its statement, and presidential spokesman Roque denied having said that Filipinos have no capacity to conduct their own research because of capital-intensive. The official also reiterated that Filipinos don't have to ask for permit from the state to do scientific investigation in Benham rice because the Philippines have sovereign rights over it.
I'm sorry for the miscommunication, but again, I would like to highlight that, of course, Filipinos are conducting research and Filipinos don't need to get the consent of the Philippine state because the right to conduct scientific research is ours. That's what I meant.
Professor Batombacal says the government should be transparent when giving permits to other countries, especially to China, to conduct marine research.
Kailangan ayusin ng gobyerno itong proseso na ito dapat kasi transparent yan. Dapat madaling makita kung anong gustong gawin ng kabila. Dapat makuha agad yung information para hindi yung ganyang yung suspicions ang lumalabas agad.
Aside from China, the Department of Foreign Affairs also allowed other countries such as the US of A, Japan, and South Korea to do marine research in Benham rice. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
In other news, Philippine National Police Chief Police Director General Ronald Bato de la Rosa today signed the new operational guidelines of the Oplan Tokhang. The 7-page guideline delineates the responsibilities of the different PNP units on Oplan Tokhang. De La Rosa wants to ensure that all units understand the salient points of the program to guarantee its uniform implementation across the country.
Napirmahan ko na at itong Monday, ipapatawag ng Chairman ng Oversight Committee ni General Mendez lahat yung Deputy Regional Directors for Operation para magkakaroon ng uniform implementation, i-orient properly kung sino lang ang magiging tokhangers.
Save the Children thanks Wish 1075 for its big help to the organization. Leslie Longbowen tells us why.
This is the only music award that uses recognition to do good to those that are in need.
Apart from the excellent artists, charitable institutions are also winners in the third Wish Music Awards. Among them is Save the Children.
Wish 107.5, and she will be donating 100,000 pesos to her chosen beneficiary, Save the Children.
Save the Children is an independent children's organization that was established in the country in 1981, which helps provide the needs of poor children, including education, food, among others. It is the beneficiary chosen by Wish Music Awards winners KZ Tandingan, Michael Pangilinan, Moira De La Torre, and Extrapolation. Earlier today, the group received the 400,000 peso worth of cash donation personally handed over by BMPI Chairman Kuya Daniel Rizon and Vice President for Radio Bong Etorma.
The 400,000 donation that Wish has given Save the Children will help the organization reach more children in the Philippines. So providing education interventions, addressing the hunger and malnutrition problem in the country, and of course protecting the children here in the country.
The organization is thankful that there is an award-giving body in the country that helps those in need.
To Wish 107.5, to Kuya Daniel, thank you for organizing such event wherein you get to award extraordinary artists and at the same time providing assistance and help to organizations like Save the Children.
Among the 11 beneficiaries, Save the Children received the biggest amount. Other winning charitable institutions are the Bukas Palad Foundation Incorporated, Can Servants Philippines, Child House, Cribs Foundation Incorporated, Inspired Church Metro Manila, the Philippine Animal Welfare Society, Santo Niño Home for the Aged, Merit Cell Children's World Foundation, Teach for the Philippines, and Visayan Forum Foundation Incorporated. This year, Wish Music Awards has given 2.1 million pesos to the winners and their beneficiaries. From the first Wish Music Awards, a total of 4,875,000 pesos has already been awarded by Wish 1075. Leslie Lumbuan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
From classics to today's favorites and even a look into the future, there is something for every car lover in Montreal International Auto Show in Canada. Here's why from Christophe Fugaban.
A total of 600 cars spread out over several levels of the Palais de Congrès Center for visitors to look at, sit in, and in some cases, even drive. Since the 75th edition of the Montreal International Auto Show opens to the public on Friday, visitors are given the choice at some of the highlights of what they can see and do at the show.
Well, the car industry is booming. It's year after year for the last, I think, 8 or 9 years, and the industries, the sales have been on the high rise.
Visitors to the show will be among the first in Canada to get a look at 38 new or concept models for new electric cars to luxury brands showing off their latest offers. Visitors are given the chance to test drive an electric car. A visit to the auto show will give potential buyers a chance to test drive some vehicles that might be on their wish list.
Well, this year's event, the specialty is electric. The future is electric, and we are very proud to have 41 electric vehicles here for people to sit, to look at them.
There's also a performance zone for car enthusiasts who like older cars, modified rides, and exotics. While visitors can drive the cars off the floor, many automakers are now giving visitors a virtual reality experience of their latest models. The Montreal International Auto Show opens at 10 a.m. and will close every day at 9:30 p.m., except on the final day, January 28, when doors close at 6 p.m. Admission is $16 for adults and $13 for seniors or students. Children under 6 are free, while ages 6 to 12 cost $6. Crestor Fugaban, UNTV News and Rescue, Montreal, Canada.
Those are the reasons behind the news, January 25, 2018. I am William Theo.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Angelo Castro III.
And I'm Darlene Basingan. Because we need to know, we will always ask why.
Thank you for watching
Why News.